What's up, everybody? I'm sitting in front of my old neighborhood. I always joke and say a good way to tell you going through a bad neighborhood is when you see a lot of churches. I was at that church right there, and then Salem Church right there, and about 2 more blocks down, it's another church there. But I was at St. Nick. You can't see it, but over there, like in the basement, is where I started boxing. The Salem Church, as a matter of fact, Salem Church, from what I understand, from what Don Turner told me, he said that's where him and Sugar Ray Robinson used to work out together, in Salem Church. But across the street in 212, that's the building I used to live in. In the basement, they had a boxing gym. And that's when I used to box this guy named Robert Jr. But we wasn't serious. We was children. I was 10 years old. He was 10 years old. I wasn't serious, but I had always liked boxing. My mother and my father didn't want me to box. That's why when I came back to New York by myself, that's when I started boxing. But as long as I was with them, they wasn't going to let me box. And I remember they used to have like a box, not a boxing, but it was like a little skating ring right here. It was in here or in here. And that's when me and Robert Jr. used to spar. Robert Jr. used to beat me up. You know, he was a better boxer than I was. He ain't beat me up, but he used to get some good shots on me, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, Robert Jr., he was pretty good. I thought he was gonna box. He didn't go into boxing. I did. But yeah, we used to have a gym. It was, like I said, Don Turner told me he was at that gym in Salem Church. And I remember we was in that park right there. We used to be in that park, and a lady from Good Times, I forgot her name, not Thelma, the mother, I forgot her name. She used to come sit on the bench right there. She used to sit on the bench right there and watch us play. And we used to run and talk to her, ask her questions and shit, and then run back and start playing again. And she would just sit there all day. She would sit there all day, the lady from Good Times. I forgot her name. What was her name? What was the mother from Good Times. Was it Thelma? I don't know. But she used to sit there in the park. She would sit there and watch us all day. Yep. Salem Church, and that's the school I used to go to. And that's when Teddy Riley was living there. Teddy Riley lived across the street next to Salem. And Teddy Riley used to practice with a guy named Larry. And I forgot Larry's brother. They used to practice. That's who Teddy first started practicing with. When they used to play instruments, they used to play guitars and keyboards and drums like that. They used to play with the guy on my floor, a guy named Larry. Larry and Jerry, that's what their name was, Jerry and Larry. And they said play their guitars and stuff like that. Then when I came back to New York years later, that's when I saw Teddy Riley on TV. And he was with a guy. Well, I know he was with Keith Sweat first. I saw him with Keith Sweat. Yeah, right there. And we used to practice right in that park. Yep. Salem Church. Like I told you, that's the school I used to go to over there. That's the school. That's the back. And that's funny the way Teddy Riley started in projects and ended up at the Apollo. And the Apollo was on the other side of the school. I used to go to that school right there. Yep. All this stuff is new. Yeah. All this stuff is new.